Hi, and welcome to another video by Get It Done Home Repairs. Today's project, we're going to be removing this towel rack, repairing the holes in the wall, spackling it, and getting it ready to paint it so that you'll never be able to tell that this was ever there before. All right, enough talking. Let's jump right in there and let's get this job done. Up underneath the bottom right here, and we're going to take out that set screw that actually holds this in place. You probably want to hold on to it just in case it falls off. You don't want to break your tile floor. Alright, we'll take this off. Alright, so now what we'll do is we're going to take out these Phillips head screws here, and I'll show you how to take out the mollies that are below. And I'll explain what a molly is in just a second. And then this is trash. Now underneath here, we will clean this up because it's going to be painted later on, but these pieces in the wall right here are what I call mollies. If you don't remove these pieces in the wall, you're going to put spackle on it and it's going to wind up being a bump. So we need to take those out. There's two different ways of doing it. One, you can grab a drill and you can drill it out and take the plastic insert out. Or the way I do them is I take the screw that I previously took out, screw it into the molly like this. You're just going in partially. We're not going in all the way. We're just going to go in just a little bit, and you just grab the screw and you rotate it around like this, and it pulls the molly right out of the wall. All right, we'll do it one more time. Take the screw, put the screw into the molly like this. We'll screw it down just partially. You don't want to screw it in too far. We screwed it in partially, and then we just grab it and just rotate it around just like that. And you can see where it's starting to pull out of the wall already. And just keep rotating it around in a circle. And it comes right out just like that. See how the screw is only partially in? Okay, now, if you look at these holes in the wall here, you'll notice that these holes actually stick out just a little bit because the molly's actually pulled out the material or the sheetrock a little bit. So what I normally do is take anything that's round, such as this, just go on the hole like that, and just give it a little bit of a turn and push. And you see how it actually indents it, it like dimples it? Same thing here. See? A slight dimple. Now, as you can see right here, somebody previously had this bracket mounted on the wall and they didn't do such a good job of patching it up. So we are going to repair this at the same time, but we're going to take our spackle tool like this and we're going to clean the lip off. Right here. And now that's nice and smooth now as well, because when they put the spackle on it, they didn't smooth it down. And now we're going to do the same thing right here. We're going to push that in a little bit and put a little dimple in that so we can actually fill that at the same time. Okay. Now you see how this is dimpled in? So now it's recessed in. When we put the spackle on the top of it, it'll actually come nice and smooth. Now the whole outside is smooth. I'm going to do a little bit of cleanup right here. Okay. All right, next thing we're going to do now is we're going to open up our spackle. Now there's lots of different kinds of spackle. If you go to your regular big box store, you'll be able to get it. All right. So what I always do is take a little bit of spackle. This knife is actually a little small, but I want to force spackle into these holes right here first. So you're going to take it like this, put it on like that, and then we're going to push the spackle So what I did is the holes are now filled up, the whole length that this moly was in the wall, by forcing the spackle into it, now that becomes solid and not just a patch on the outside. All right, so now after we do that, we're just going to smooth it out a little bit. And then we're going to take a larger spackle knife and just go like this. And you can see now, everything else is even with the wall. So we're going to let this dry here. Once it dries, we're going to come back and we're going to spackle it one more time, and then I'm going to show you how to finish it off. All right, so we'll come back as soon as that dries up, and we'll finish it off. So now once the spackle is dried on here, usually it takes a couple of hours or possibly longer depending on how damp it is out. There's different ways you can actually sand this off. One way you can do it is with the sanding block like this. You just get in here and you put the block on the wall and you just sand it to clean it off. Now, if you don't want to make it, because when you sand it, there is a lot of dust. Even if you're very careful and you have the ground covered, you have a lot of dust. If you don't want to make a mess in your home, you can use a wet rag. Just, make sure it's damp, and you use the rag just like a sanding block. You put it over the top, and you just go in a circular motion like that, and you'll see it cleans off almost all of the residue that was around here. Now, remember what I talked about yesterday, the dimpling right inside here, how it recesses in? You can see right here that these are actually recessed in a little bit. So we're going to need to go on here with a second coat of spackle, because remember how deep those holes were. That spackle filled in those spots, but they shrunk just a little bit. So now we're going to put a finishing coat over the top of it, and we're just going to do that now, and we'll get this finished up. And then you'll probably just have to wet sand it one more time. What you do is just put a little bit of spackle on the top just like this. Make sure it fills in really well, all the holes. And then you take your flat trowel like this and you just rub it off, just like that. And that's it. Now, remember, the smoother you get the spackle with your spackling trowel, the less cleanup you're going to have to do, whether it's with a sandpaper or with the wet rag. So now that we have this will actually fill in really well, and you will not even be able to tell where it is. But we're going to let that dry, and once it dries for the second time, then we're going to come in with our rag, and we're just going to wipe it down one more time to get that excess around inside here. But all four of those dimples now are all filled up, and we don't have to worry about anything, so we'll be all done. All right, so thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.